Good evening, everyone. My name is Suhendra, and I am currently a 10th grader studying at Sekolah Pelita Harapan Lipo Village. Today, I want to discuss a project which I've been working on recently called Banana Peel Bioplastics. But before I get into the details of what exactly this is, I want to discuss two of, dare I say, Indonesia's most concerning problems. The first of these being food waste. Food waste is such a concerning problem because generally people don't realize just how much food is wasted. It is the largest, it takes up the largest category of food wasted in Indonesia, taking up about 27.84% of the food, of total waste output per year. About 48,000 tons of food is wasted and 17 million tons in a year. The issue with this food waste is it's caused by a variety of problems. This could be spoiling or bruising of fragile ingredients such as fruits and vegetables, as well as inadequate cold storage for ingredients which perish easily, such as meats, as well as the over-purchasing or leftovers due to celebrations or cultural events. However, the topic which I want to be covering on regarding food waste today is going to be the discarded components of many ingredients which people do not see much value in. The problem with these different kinds of components, such as the peels of fruits or certain parts of animals which are simply not eaten, is that while they are not used in the conventional sense for cooking, they still they cause very similar problems and impacts on Indonesia as a whole. For instance, these organic materials often accumulate in large landfills, which causes many additional issues in other fields, such as the releasing of greenhouse gases such as CO2 and methane, causing pollution to the air and contributing to global warming. Aside from this, these wasted resources also tend to attract bugs, pests, and diseases towards these landfills, which can be extremely harmful and dangerous for the people living in these areas. Among these different ingredients that are often wasted, the one that I'll be covering today is, well, bananas. Bananas are one of the most widely produced fruits in Indonesia, especially with about 61,000 tons of bananas being produced per hectare in Indonesia, as well as a total of 9.3 million tons being produced annually. The thing about bananas is that they're really commonly used in the culture of Indonesia, being planted in large plantations, being sold on markets, and being used in lots of traditional dishes. However, the part of the banana peel, the bananas that I'll be discussing is the banana peels themselves. While people may not think that banana peels take up a large portion of the bananas, they actually take up about 39% of the fruit themselves, which equates to about 3.6 million tons of waste being produced per year. Moving on to the second problem, before discussing the project which I've been working on, it is plastic waste. Since plastic is the second most produced type of waste in Indonesia, taking up about 15% of its whole annual waste output, with about 26,000 tons of it being produced per day and about 9.8 million tons being produced per year. Plastic is obviously extremely harmful for the environment due to the fact that while it is useful in creating products, it also is unbiodegradable, causing lots of contamination to the environment, causing both land pollution, water pollution, etc. This is really important because it ends up harming not only ourselves, our living environments, but also the wildlife around us. This in turn causes the bioaccumulation of microplastics in our diet as well, causing further harm to our own health, as well as, since these ecosystems are also a really important part of Indonesia's culture, and they tend to attract lots of tourism to Indonesia, which is really important since tourism is a large part of the economy in various regions of Indonesia. Hence, these two problems can be solved through one solution, that being creating banana peel bioplastics. Simply put, it's quite self-explanatory. It's creating a biodegradable alternative to plastics, instead using these discarded banana peels. So the creation of banana peel bioplastics is relatively simple. It starts off by taking the raw materials, boiling them, and cutting them with a hand blender into a sort of paste in order to soften the tissue of the banana peels. Then adding an acidic additive as well as glycerin to help break down the molecules such as starch and cellulose within the banana peels, and the plasticizer, which is the glycerin, in order to allow the final product to be a lot smoother and a lot more flexible and elastic. And finally, baking them in an oven at around 120 degrees Celsius for about 2 to 3 hours to produce a final product that is this sheet of banana peel bioplastic. So personally, I've been working on this project for several months now, going through many processes, such as starting from scratch, working on creating larger scales of this banana peel bioplastic, testing out with adding food coloring so it's more applicable to real-life situations, as well as testing out how the different ratios of ingredients within the formula for creating these bioplastics will affect their overall strength and quality. And of course, most recently, I've worked on testing out how different acidic additives contribute to creating these bioplastics. So following these different trials of creating bioplastics, I've also done various tests to evaluate how effective this really is as a potential solution to both food waste and plastic waste. Over about a month of being left in dirt, it's been able to biodegrade about 35% of its mass. Aside from that, I've done tensile strength tests, which have shown how, in total, the final product is able to hold up to 6 kilograms of load on average, as well as being about 1 to 2 millimeters in thickness. So this is the final sheet of bioplastic that's most recent. And I believe that this is a really exciting form of research because of how versatile this kind of solution is for the future of Indonesia. It doesn't just solve the problems of food waste and plastic waste by being able to convert these discarded banana peels into plastics which are biodegradable and used around the country, but it's so versatile in the fact that this kind of material can be used in many products, not just plastic bags. It can be used in cups, potentially straws in the future, and maybe even in the form of wallets or bags. Additionally, the solution itself has various opportunities for improvement and development, especially since these bioplastics are made primarily of the starch and cellulose which come from bananas, which allows it to be expanded beyond just the bananas themselves, but to various kinds of other discarded and overlooked materials within Indonesia. Additionally, since these problems, food waste and plastic waste, are also really general, they are also extremely applicable to not just Indonesia, but on a very global scale to other countries which face similar problems. Thank you for listening.